In the early months of 1971, tension flowed like an undercurrent beneath the surface of Pakistan, unseen by the world, yet powerful enough to split a nation in two. East Pakistan, despite being geographically distant from the Western Wing, was home to the majority of Pakistan's population. And yet, its people felt politically marginalized, economically sidelined, and culturally misunderstood. The sense of alienation grew over years, and by 1970 it had turned into a national crisis waiting to erupt. The spark came during Pakistan's first-ever general elections in December 1970. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and his Awami League achieved a decisive victory, winning 160 out of 162 seats in East Pakistan, enough to form a majority government for all of Pakistan. According to the rules of parliamentary democracy, Mujib should have rightfully taken the role of prime minister. But power in Pakistan rested firmly in the West. In the hands of General Yahya Khan's military regime and the political force of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, who feared losing influence if Mujib led the government. Negotiations began, but they were burdened by mistrust, political egos, and decades of unresolved resentment between the two wings. As the weeks passed, East Pakistan's streets pulsed with protest. Public strikes grew, students marched, and government offices in Dhaka found themselves surrounded by crowds demanding political rights. On March 7, 1971, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman stood before hundreds of thousands at the Ramna racecourse and delivered a speech that electrified the nation. He did not outright declare independence, but his words ignited the spirit of resistance. The struggle this time is for our freedom. The struggle this time is for independence. From that day forward, East Pakistan was in open defiance. Behind closed doors, the leadership in West Pakistan decided the situation had slipped too far. On the night of March 25, 1971, the Pakistan Army launched a sweeping military Operation Searchlight, aimed at crushing the uprising. Tanks rolled through Dhaka, soldiers moved into universities and neighborhoods, and clashes erupted across the region. Lieutenant General Tika Khan, General A.K. Niazi, and Major General Rao Farman Ali oversaw the crackdown, believing it would restore order. Instead, it sparked an exodus. Fear, chaos, and violence sent millions fleeing across the border into India. Villages emptied, refugee camps overflowed, and the humanitarian disaster became too large for the world to ignore. India's Prime Minister, Indira Gandhi, saw the crisis not only as a moral issue but also as a strategic opportunity. India's eastern borders were collapsing under the weight of refugees. The Mukti Bahini, a Bengali guerrilla force, was fighting Pakistani troops but lacked resources. India realized that supporting them could weaken Pakistan and reshape the regional balance of power. Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw, India's charismatic army chief, advised against immediate intervention, stressing the need for preparation. By summer 1971, India began training Mukti Bahini fighters, providing them with weapons, intelligence, and covert support. All the while, India built diplomatic pressure internationally, especially in Moscow, securing a treaty of friendship with the Soviet Union, a strategic shield against intervention from China or the United States. By November 1971, India was ready. Yet it was Pakistan that fired the first shot. On December 3rd, Pakistan launched preemptive airstrikes on Indian airfields in Amritsar, Agra, Srinagar, Jodhpur, and other western cities. Pakistan aimed to neutralize Indian air power, much like Israel's strategy during the Six-Day War. But the strikes failed to inflict significant damage. Instead, they unified India's political and military leadership, leading to a full-scale response across both fronts. The Indo-Pakistani War of 1971 had officially begun. In the East, India executed one of the fastest and most coordinated military campaigns in modern history. Lieutenant General Jagjit Singh Arora commanded Indian forces with precision, supported by Air Chief Marshal P.C. Lal and Admiral S.M. Nanda. The Indian Air Force established near-total air superiority within days, striking Pakistani positions, bridges, communication lines, and supply routes. Helicopters ferried troops across rivers in bold operations like the Meghna Heli Bridge, bypassing Pakistani defenses and accelerating India's advance toward Dhaka. Mukti Bahini fighters, familiar with every riverbank and every forest path, coordinated guerrilla attacks that disrupted Pakistan's attempts to regroup. Pakistan's Eastern Command under General Niazi found itself increasingly isolated. Ammunition stockpiles dwindled, reinforcements could not arrive, and communication lines collapsed. Pakistan fought hard in places like Hilli, where resistance was fierce, and in Khulna, where troops held out until the last moment. But the momentum was irreversibly against them. On the Western Front, Pakistan pressed for bold, decisive actions to offset its vulnerabilities in the east. The Pakistan Air Force performed with exceptional skill, defending key bases and winning several dogfights despite being outnumbered. The army engaged India at multiple points, including the deserts of Rajasthan and the plains of Punjab. The Battle of Lanjwala became legendary, where a small Indian company held off a major Pakistani armored force through the night until air support arrived. The Pakistan Navy launched patrols and attempted to challenge Indian control at sea, but suffered a devastating blow when its submarine, PNS Ghazi, mysteriously sank near Vishakhapatnam. India retaliated with daring naval attacks on Karachi, causing widespread damage. Despite moments of bravery and tactical success, Pakistan could not alter the strategic reality. The war was being decided in the east. By December 14th, Dhaka was completely surrounded. Indian forces moved in rapidly, capturing key points and urging civilian safety. Political leaders fled, foreign diplomats prepared for evacuation, and East Pakistan's government collapsed internally. On December 16, 1971, the war reached its defining moment. At the Ramna racecourse, Lieutenant General A.K. Niazi signed the Instrument of Surrender before Lieutenant General Jagjit Singh Arora. More than 93,000 Pakistani soldiers, officers, and civilians became prisoners of war, the largest surrender since the end of the Second World War. In a single moment, a nation was divided, and a new country, Bangladesh, was born. The war transformed South Asia. Pakistan lost not only territory but a central part of its national identity. India emerged as the dominant military and political power in the region. Bangladesh began its journey as an independent state after years of struggle. In Pakistan, the political order collapsed under the weight of defeat, leading to Yahya Khan's resignation and the rise of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. The military, shaken by the loss, reflected deeply on its internal failures, communication breakdowns, and strategic miscalculations. For many, 1971 remains a story of tragedy and courage, of soldiers who fought against overwhelming odds, civilians who endured unspeakable suffering, and leaders whose decisions carried the fate of millions. It is a conflict studied for its speed, for its intelligence operations, for its diplomatic maneuvering, and for the way a regional war reshaped the geopolitical landscape of the subcontinent. The war's legacy continues